Hey guys, Brixenta here, and this is the story of how I got over some really bad respiratory issues in the middle of March. So it started off actually the end of February. I'm gonna give you TMI, but I just want to be as helpful as I can be. I had vomiting, diarrhea, fever, felt awful. I thought that I had the stomach flu. It lasted about a week, and it was so bad that normally at 2 or 3 days, like, good to go back to work. No, I had to take the entire week off. I had started being sick on Saturday and then took the entire week off, and then finally that next Saturday I was able to kind of do some stuff. Like, I went to a movie and I was worn out after that. I was better. I wasn't contagious at that point, so don't worry. And then the next day was when I was finally starting to be able to do stuff. I mean, like, I was so sick that I tried to go back to work. It started late Friday night, early Saturday morning. I tried to go back to work Wednesday, and I ended up sitting in the middle of the store because I couldn't function. That's how bad it was. And so I got over that, and I was towards the end of the week, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. And then finally by the end of the week, I'm like, okay, I'm better now. And I was like, had all these plans to start cleaning out my closet, which is where we're at right now. I have a curtain over my clothes because it's a mess. And so I had all these plans because I was like feeling so much more energetic. And then, so this was, I had gotten it like towards the end of February, and then the beginning of March is when this was a Thursday night, I started coughing a little bit. I didn't think anything of it. The weather was changing. I have allergies. Didn't think anything of it. It was no big deal whatsoever. And so I coughed a few times and shrugged it off as allergies and didn't even give it another thought. The next morning I woke up, and this is where it started to go downhill. I was very nervous. I've never been nervous when I'm sick before. I wasn't super scared at this point, but I was really uneasy because I woke up and I've had bronchitis before, but this was so different and so out of the blue. I had this deep cough and couldn't stop coughing. I could breathe. I like wasn't short of breath at that point, but I couldn't stop coughing. Couldn't catch a super good breath. It wasn't shortness of breath, but it wasn't like a great breath either because I was coughing so much and so deep. And so I took some Mucinex and I did calm it down. I still had a cough. I went to work. No idea why I thought that was a good idea. Absolutely no idea why I thought that was a good idea. And later on in the day, I'm like, I'm so sure this is bronchitis. And I was like, I'm going to be miserable if I don't do something about it. And I don't want to take antibiotics because antibiotics, how bronchitis works is your these little tubes in your chest. Hopefully I can get a picture. These little tubes in your chest called bronchial tubes. They end up getting phlegm, and so excess mucus and inflammation. They swell. So that's what causes bronchitis. And so I was like, how do I get this mucus out? How do I get the inflammation down? And because I like, even if it's not bronchitis, like phlegm and at that point it was a dry cough, but I was like, there must be phlegm in there, right? But the swelling, I was like, I have to get that swelling down to get over this, to be well, because I'm kind of miserable right now. So it ended up, I have a friend with a store, an online store, and I was getting ready to place an order. She sells a whole bunch of different things. I was getting ready to place an order, and I wasn't planning on asking her if she knew of a natural remedy for bronchitis, but I was getting ready to place an order, and I was like, well, just in case the store has something, it's going to be way too late by the time I get it, but I'm going to ask her anyway, because maybe it'll help at the end, whatever. So I asked her, and she just happened to be at her son's therapist, who happened to just get over bronchitis herself, and she had taken this thing called mullein leaf. So, and just because of how that happened, I don't know where you guys stand, but I believe very much in God. And so how everything lined up just so perfectly, because she didn't know the answer, but she happened to be at the therapist's office, and the therapist wouldn't have known if she didn't happen to just get over bronchitis. And I never would have asked if I didn't just happen to place an order right then. So it was just this combination of things, and I was so sure that that's what I needed to help my respiratory issue. And so I'm like, okay, because at this point, it's not a big deal. Oh, what I was going to say about the swelling and the inflammation, it's a virus. Bronchitis is a virus. So I knew going to the doctor to get an antibiotic wasn't going to help me get over the bronchitis. It would just prevent pneumonia, because pneumonia is typically bacterial, and antibiotics stop bacteria. So I knew that because it was a virus, there wasn't a lot that could be done for it anyway. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna try to take care of it myself and see what happens. If I get worse, I'll go to the doctor, or if I don't get better, I'll go to the doctor. But I feel like this is what I need. The next day, it went even further downhill. Okay, I woke up. I barely even slept. I don't even know if you can call it woke up. I sort of slept for 2 hours. That was about it. I got up in the morning and I couldn't breathe. Like, I could hardly catch a breath. I was still doing the coughing and all that stuff, but I could hardly catch a breath. And I've never in my life been scared when I was sick before. I was scared. I did not think I would even make it to the emergency room. That's how bad it was. And so I paced around anxiously. I was trying to calm myself down for a few minutes after I took a Mucinex. So I took that Mucinex because I was like, I need to do something to try to, like, at least be able to breathe, like take a breath. I need to catch a breath. Like, that's what I need right now, is I need a breath. And so I took some Mucinex, and I was like, if this doesn't help in a few minutes, I'm gonna have to call an ambulance. And I don't think I've ever considered calling an ambulance in my life, at least not for myself. Once for my mom, but that didn't end up needing to happen, thankfully. But never been scared, never considered going to the ER, but this time was so bad that I was like, something has to be done right now or I'm not gonna make it. That's how bad it was. And so the Mucinex calmed the cough enough that I could take a breath, and I was like, okay, I can breathe now, so I don't need to go to the emergency room, but I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on what's going on right now, because I really, there was multiple reasons. I didn't want to go to the doctor. It was the weekend, so I would have had to go to somebody that I don't normally go to, and would have been 3 times as much as I normally pay. So, I didn't want to have to do that. Plus, I didn't know if I would trust them or not, because every doctor's so different. Because it would be a doctor that I didn't know. And so I really did not want to go to the doctor over the weekend. So I was like, I'm going to, and plus I also felt so strongly that the mullein leaf was what I needed. I wanted to hold out if I could. With as bad as it was, first of all, I don't recommend doing this. If you have that happen, go to the doctor, call your doctor right away. Don't wait. Don't do what I did. So that is not medical advice by any means. Go to the doctor, talk to your doctor. We'll talk right now. It's April 2020. You need to call the doctor to see if they think you need to come in. Anyway, so I'm sitting there going, I feel awful, and it's getting worse and worse, and my stomach was growling. I couldn't eat anything though, because I felt like I was gonna vomit, and I took a bite and I felt like I was gonna vomit, and I was like, that on top of not being able to breathe and coughing would be a very, very, very bad situation. So it was like, either I deal with my angry stomach growling, or I throw up what I'm eating and have an even worse situation than I already have. So I dealt with being hungry. And I did spike a fever, but it only went to 100, which is high for me, because I normally run like closer to like 97.9, 98.1, somewhere in there. So I knew 100 was a high for me, but I was like, if it goes any higher, I'm going to the doctor if this mullein leaf doesn't work. Because at that point, I think sometime around then is when the mullein leaf arrived. Thankfully, it arrived really quickly. And it arrived much earlier than it said. And so I was like, I really want to see if this mullein leaf is going to do anything. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to go to the doctor today. I'm just going to have to suck it up and pay the 3 times as much and go to a doctor I don't know. I'm just going to have to suck it up. I couldn't hardly move. I was coughing all the time. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. It was awful. I was not human. And so finally, I muster up, which if I haven't already, I'll try to insert a picture of mullein leaf now. So I try to muster up the strength to get up to do the mullein leaf. What you do is, it's in a dropper bottle. So you take a little glass of water, you just put a little bit of water, and then you put drops of mullein in it, the extract in it. That's all you do. It's a tea, so it doesn't interact with anything. So I wasn't worried about taking it with the Mucinex or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I'll take this, see what happens. If it doesn't get better within the next couple of hours, then I'm gonna have to go to the doctor today. I couldn't imagine like sitting at the doctor's office at that point. It was awful. And I was like, I have no idea how I'm gonna sit at the doctor's office while I'm waiting to go see the doctor, but I'm gonna have to, because this is bad. But I took it, and within about an hour I could finally eat something, and then within an hour, and my fever broke at that point, and then within an hour of that, I was finally able to function. Like, I was still sick, but like I was finally able to like get up and move around, go to the bathroom without like wondering if I had the strength to get there. Like, it was like I felt human again. I could actually function, and it did help suppress the cough. I was still coughing a lot, but it went down a lot. I could breathe. Like, it wasn't good breathing, and it was really I don't know if you've ever had bronchitis or asthma, but you know how you get that raspiness. I had that, so I had all those things, but that mullein leaf helped make me a functioning human. And then, so this was a Saturday, and then Sunday I was starting to get better. I still couldn't sleep more than a couple of hours, which was bad, because I was like, I need sleep to get better, but I can't sleep because I'm wheezing so bad. So Monday I was still getting better, but once again I couldn't sleep. So finally I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor, get like a stronger cough medicine, and they prescribed an antibiotic so I didn't get worse and cause pneumonia, because that, you know, the worse it gets, the worse time you have, the more complications, the more risk, whatever. Normally, if it wasn't such a bad case, I would not have taken it, but this was such a bad case that I'm like, I'm going to take it because I know I'm gonna have to go back to work, and I don't want to get anything else on top of whatever that was, because that was scary. And so I took the only thing that mullein might do, this isn't actually proven, there's not enough research done on it, but the only thing it might do is lessen the effects of an antibiotic. So because I was on the antibiotic, they also prescribed a really strong cough medicine. I didn't want to take the mullein leaf with the antibiotic. So Tuesday, I got the 2 medicines, I started taking that, and the longer I was off of the mullein leaf, the more my cough progressed, even though I was taking the prescription strength cough medicine. And so this was Tuesday morning. By Tuesday night, I was absolutely miserable. I was getting to a point where before that, I thought I was getting better. I just couldn't sleep because of the wheezing. So I thought I was getting better, and I stopped taking the mullein leaf because I was like, maybe this is all in my head. Maybe it would have just done that anyway. Maybe I was just getting better. I stopped taking the mullein leaf and started taking that cough medicine and the antibiotic, and I got progressively worse and worse and worse. Finally, Wednesday early afternoon, I could not, so this was like 24 hours maybe, I couldn't stand it anymore, and I was like, I don't technically need the antibiotic, so I'm gonna chance the mullein lessening the effects of it because this is awful. I took that and my cough went way down, and by Thursday I was barely, I was still coughing some, but I didn't have any, like, I wasn't constantly coughing. It was tolerable. It wasn't fun, but it was tolerable. Got a humidifier, and then I could actually sleep. Thursday night I slept for 4 hours. I was so excited because within a week I had 7 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep, I think. Not good, let me tell you. So I don't think the prescription medicine did anything besides make me dizzy. I don't like taking prescription anyway, but it was such a bad case and I needed sleep so bad that I didn't care. But it didn't, normally it doesn't matter if it says non-drowsy, drowsy, whatever, it makes me sleepy. This did not make me sleepy. Like, it was bad. It was just so bad. Finally, after I got the humidifier and started taking the mullein again, I was still taking the cough medicine and I was still taking the antibiotic. The antibiotic, you don't want to stop an antibiotic until it's done. You just don't want to do that. So I was still taking that. And the cough medicine, I was like, just in case it is doing something, because that was such a bad situation, just in case it is doing something, I'm going to continue to take it. But within like a week and a half, I was pretty much totally done coughing, just a teeny tiny bit. So it was about the middle of March when all that finally stopped. But it was a situation where, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I would have been hospitalized had I not had that mullein leaf. And not everybody's gonna have the same story because everybody's body reacts differently. But let me tell you, my sister and my dad both ended up getting bronchitis as well. And they weren't actually testing at the time, so it might have been COVID-19 that we all had. But they weren't testing at the time, so they label it bronchitis. And so my dad, I gave him that stuff right away. He was very hesitant to take it. He like normally looks at me like I'm a quack. But this stuff, after the first round, after a while, because you take it 3 times a day, you can take it 3 times a day. And he needed another round of it. And he asked me for the magic potion. And I was like, you actually want to take more? What? So I gave him some more, and he just kept referring to it as a magic potion, but I gave it to him pretty much at the beginning of when he started coughing, so he didn't get it as bad as I did. And the same thing with my sister. My sister, the same thing happened. Neither one of them had it nearly as bad as I did. Now it may just not have been as bad a case, I don't know, but they both took it, and they both ended up having to go to the doctor to get medicine as well. However, it helped tremendously. And I don't remember, all 3 of us went to different doctors. I don't remember what my sister's doctor said. My dad's doctor didn't know about mullein leaf. My doctor said, if it works, take it. She didn't even have a problem with me taking it with the antibiotics. I just did that as a precautionary measure because of what I had researched. And so that's how it worked for us. We all have the same genetics. We have different bodies, so even within the same genetics, don't always work the same way. And there's no proof that it was COVID-19 because they weren't testing at the time, so it might have been just bronchitis, or it might have been, in my case, it might have actually been pneumonia, or whatever the case. I'm not saying, I'm a doctor, I'm not saying this is a cure for COVID-19. Yes, I'm sorry, the title was clickbaity, but I knew people wouldn't pay attention if I didn't make it a clickbaity title. I hate when people do that, but it wasn't too far from the truth, so I was like, I want to help as many people as I possibly can, so hopefully this does. And the other disclaimer is, I am not a medical doctor. Do not just take my word, please. Yes, it is a tea leaf extract, but it is a concentrated tea leaf extract. So just because this is what I've researched, your doctor might have something different to say. And there's not tons of research on it. So your doctor might be like, well, it's not well enough research to say yes or no, so I don't recommend taking it. That might be the case. Trust your doctor. If you have a doctor you trust them. That's what I should say. Not all doctors are trustworthy, but if you do trust your doctor, which I hope you do, trust them, whatever they tell you. So, or ask for a second opinion, whatever the case. This is my disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not claiming this is a cure. I'm just telling you my story, how it helped me, what it was, and it's like $9 on Amazon. So, I hope you find this helpful, and hopefully this lessens your anxiety about the whole virus, because my situation was so bad, and I'm a 36-year-old with no underlying health conditions, and I can only imagine how bad other people have gotten it, and they don't know about this option. So I just want to help if I can, and that's all. So let me know in the comments if you've heard of mullein leaf before, if you've taken it before, how it reacted with you, because if you have taken it, I would love to hear your story so we have more testimonies of, yes, it works, no, it doesn't, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, yes, it works for bronchitis, no, it doesn't work for COVID, whatever the case, because I want to know, I want to hear your story, because everybody's body works differently. So I love you guys so much, and dream big and take action.